We've all heard of the magical superpowers of semen retention. If one of your motivations for this practice is to increase your attractiveness as a man, then listen very closely. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 ways that semen retention makes you more magnetic. Welcome to the video, guys. It's Shako here from Mind's Eye Status. I'm going to share with you as a communication coach what my experience has been like for 10 years of practicing semen retention and how that's affected my interactions with women and with people in general. The first question on your mind is probably, Shako, is it true though? Is it actually possible to become more attractive by practicing semen retention? The answer is yes. However, before I dive into the how-to, by saying that semen retention is by no means a magic pill that will automatically make you more attractive and confident, walking through life with ease. You do need to work on yourself. You do need to work on your communication skills, your habits, your behaviors, your lifestyle, and everything in between. So don't be lazy. There's no such thing as a quick fix. But a proactive lifestyle of self-improvement and commitment to growth paired with semen retention will make you unstoppable, and it'll change your freaking life, let me tell you. So let's start by listing all the ways that I personally experienced how semen retention made me more attractive as an individual. Anecdotal evidence, of course. Are you ready? Let's dive into it. This isn't physical attractiveness, by the way. That does not matter anywhere as near as how energetically attractive you are. Of course, I like to dress nice. I like to be well groomed with my bald head and my beard. But vanity is a very feminine trait, period. But I truly believe that as a man, if you spend too much time in front of the mirror, you seriously need to reconsider where your attention and focus is. I love femininity, I'm sure you do too, but let's please leave that to the women. Unless you're a very feminine dude, then in that case, you do you, brother. Moving on, attractiveness in this context will relate to your magnetism. This is how people feel in your presence. How frequently and potently are people drawn to you and want to get closer to you? Not just physically, but also emotionally in terms of building a connection with you. So let's dive into the 4 things that I noticed as I practiced semen retention. One of the most obvious things that I noticed was the amount of looks and attention that I would get from people once I started practicing semen retention. People would make extended eye contact with me. Yes, women, but also men, confident, successful looking men, people who I would look up to. I know this sounds crazy, but I feel like as your confidence goes up with this practice of semen retention and that energy that you're carrying with yourself, people notice it and they give you more opportunities to connect. They become more open and receptive to you, which allows you to connect with higher quality people. And for the first time in years, I actually felt comfortable holding eye contact with people. Before, I would break eye contact all the time. I was very nervous and socially anxious. Your eye contact will become stronger. Look, I'll be the first one to admit, I don't know why exactly scientifically this happens when you practice semen retention. I have an idea, but the fact that after a couple of weeks of practicing, you walk into a grocery store, you're just going about your day-to-day life, going to the gym perhaps, and noticing people looking at you, drawing more attention. It's a strange feeling. Maybe some of you have experienced this. Put it in the comments if you have. Although, it probably has to do with my second point, which is body language. This increases your magnetism and attractiveness, period. As a communication coach, I believe that standing tall with your shoulders back, having open body language with your chin up is good advice in terms of how to carry yourself, but it's very basic. What I noticed on semen retention was the more subtle changes in the way that I carried myself. For example, my movements would be much slower and more calm and calculated, very non-reactive to the environment. This tends to be after a couple of weeks of retaining, because you'll notice that once that urge, that sexual urge, is under control, you just settle into your space wherever you are, and you radiate a confident, calm, and grounded energy. It felt like I was melting in my seat with a cool, calm presence. I remember going to social events when I first started practicing this, and I would feel nervous usually, but I remember being at a restaurant with some friends and mutual friends who I hadn't met yet, And instead of feeling anxious and overthinking in my mind, I remember pretty much melting into my seat and being so present and noticing how present I was in the moment. It was pretty much life-changing because I never felt like that before. There was a sense of positive presence just moving through my body. Speaking of moving slowly and being relaxed, if you think about any celebrity or character, which is an alpha male, I want you to imagine one of your favorite characters or celebrities right now. Imagine they walked into an event and they had to meet people and introduce themselves. How would they be moving? Usually, these high status men are very slow and calm in the way that they move and interact. Now think about how you move, what your body language is communicating to the world. By the way, this sense of relaxation extends to your facial expressions as well. I noticed as I continued to practice semen retention, not only did I feel very relaxed in my body, but I would notice in videos and photos of myself that my eyes looked more relaxed. There was no tension in the face. You can tell, just look at anybody who looks nervous or out of place. There's tension in their face. Whereas if somebody is very confident in their space, in their own skin, their face has a very calm, nonchalant look to it. These specific nuances that I'm sharing with you now is basically what I share with my clients as a communication coach as they try to improve their social skills. But I noticed that when some people practice semen retention, these improvements naturally occur. By the way, guys, if you're interested in semen retention and you enjoy this type of content, follow me on Instagram right here. I reply to all DMs, and you're more than welcome to ask me any questions that you have about semen retention and share your challenges with me. And also don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. The third change is a more assertive and powerful tone of voice. I, without a doubt, notice a difference in the way that I sound if I'm not retaining after a few weeks. I notice it. If I am constantly expelling my precious seed, I sound different.
My voice becomes more high-pitched.
It is hilarious. And I know this sounds crazy. Again, most of these benefits do sound crazy. However, I would invite you to experiment with it. In fact, on my Instagram, if you scroll down long enough, I have a before and after video of how I sounded. And it's just a 4-year difference. It is a major difference. And if you have a high-pitched voice, you don't have a very deep voice, don't worry about it because your tonality is important as well. What you'll notice in people who practice semen retention is their tone becomes more grounded and assertive. Let me teach you a little bit about tonality right now. Good tonality has a downward inflection, meaning the tone goes down and flat at the end of the sentence, like how I'm speaking now. Bad tonality, if you're blowing your load all the time, sounds like this. It sounds like a question. The tonality goes up at the end of the sentence and it makes you sound very unsure of yourself. And this is how a lot of people talk, actually. Even when I'm in social settings and I see guys trying to talk to women or just meet people in general, a lot of their tonality usually goes up at the end of the sentence, sounding like a question. This improved for me naturally with semen retention. And of course, I'm a communication coach. I pay more attention to these things, but I hope that this experience can make you a little bit more aware of the way that you sound as well. However, how does the way that you sound, your tonality, affect how attractive and magnetic you are? It's because your voice is a reflection of your inner world. Whether you like it or not, when you speak, the moment you open your mouth, especially during a first impression, people make an immediate judgment about you. Is this person interesting and worth investing my attention and time into, or not? Or are they forgettable? Don't be the latter. Practice semen retention, or at least work on your tonality. So as your voice improves, so does your attractiveness. By the way, men, brothers, if women are not frequently complimenting you on the way that you speak, the way that you sound, then you should work on your tonality. Absolutely. Everybody can improve their voice. It's a very plastic muscle, the vocal cords. One way you can improve it, by the way, is by doing vocal exercises. There's plenty on YouTube. And finally, the last benefit that I noticed from semen retention is the energy that you're carrying with yourself, which does make you more attractive, and I'll explain. If you're practicing it correctly, and if you want to know how to practice it correctly without giving into your urges, I'll be making a video about that in a couple of weeks. But if you're practicing correctly and you have that potent energy under control, you will begin feeling more calm, grounded, and positive, not needing external validation because of the discipline that you've developed with this practice. And people feel this. People feel when a man has his emotions and urges under control. People can feel when a man does not need anything. He is grounded, he is self-fulfilled, he is self-sufficient, and he is self-accepting. I want you to experience this, my brother. Come, join the dark side. Practice semen retention. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for watching. Comment your questions, your thoughts, your experiences in the comments. Like, subscribe. I'll see you next week.